It's the peace dealer on the corner slinging that peace. Welcome to another magical moon message. And with the moon in Leo and the sun in Aquarius, we are venturing forth into a brand new cycle in 2 weeks, thus making this an intergalactic charge. And I say that because if you think about the whole process of charging your phone, you're plugging in an outlet or you're plugging in a charger into an outlet, and that charger connects with the electricity from the wall to bring energy into whatever device you have. And that really resonates and aligns with this full moon. The moon, of course, being yin and receptivity, and the sun being yang. And we had quite a marvelous full moon today at 9 degrees. 9 degrees, of course, conjuncting Jupiter. So 9 degrees can be seen as an action degree, and it can also be seen as a Sagittarius energy. This is even more interesting when you take into account that we're receiving in the solar energy, as Leo is an aspect of Source, if not Source itself. The moon can represent the prong that is taking in the energy of the moon, or taking in the energy of Leo from Source and bringing it to Aquarius, which Aquarius, of course, could represent the electricity in a circuit, that once a circuit is connected to the source, where it can draw energy, we now have a current that flows through a circuit across resistors, creating voltage, V equals R. So this is pretty lit. This full moon has effectively began the charging process of the circuit board, which is your body. As electricity can coral through our body, through our thoughts, and our mind's brain activity. So I'm very excited because not only is this electricity manifesting through Aquarius, Jupiter is evolving this. And if we now look into the science of lunar cycles, we had the new moon in Capricorn, which is that self-realized circuit board with which you can run all these programs on, updated and awakened. And now we're at the full moon, which, if the new moon was the seeds, the full moon is the harvest. And so for a week from now till moon in Scorpio, we are harvesting this charge, intergalactic, because this starts from the universe within you all the way to the farthest reaches of deep space, all around you and beyond this dimension, because Aquarius correlates to the universal mind through Uranus, which is T-squaring in Taurus, grounding the causal realm and being able to interlap the realm of the mind with this physical reality, since Saturn of material reality was a part of this full moon. This is a doozy because it's one of the most supernatural full moon transits that we're having in 2021, starting it early. And I want to break that down again, because the first quarter square that we had, which was really a third quarter square, but the first quarter square that we had with the moon in Taurus and the sun in Aquarius, where the energy started, was like an initial grounding, where you can't just have source energy, right? You'll probably get electrocuted or burnt. That source and electricity needs to have an earth grounding with which all that excess electricity can literally ground through. And that was the moon in Taurus transit as soon as we entered Aquarius, to instantly ground that energy and grid all this wiring into moon in Leo, where boom. And from moon in Taurus to moon in Leo is the integration, as we need to perfect and, connect this self-realized circuit board with the wiring to power it. And so we are now harvesting this new moon cycle in power before we get to the new moon cycle in electricity, embarking on a brand new narrative that will really begin the process officially of ushering in a new age of Aquarius, aka the new age of gods, aka extraterrestrials and aliens. The world is the whole universe. So many of you may feel like an alien is an extraterrestrial being from another planet, but they have more in common with you than actual extraterrestrial beings, which are beings from other worlds, aka other universes. Invite yourself to play with the concept and actualize the concept of extra-dimensional beings. True aliens are extra-dimensional because they are outside this time and space, existing as vibrations. Those who are initiated and know that aliens don't look like grays. They're not physical beings. Aliens are frequencies, vibrations that can take hold of a person's soul and spirit and inspire them with ideas that they think that are theirs. Meanwhile, they're light years away in a galactic federation. Like, look, I'm going to influence this one being down here. They're going to think it's their own thoughts. And, it's a whole higher reality beyond the third dimension. And it's not necessarily as complex. Nikola Tesla said himself, if you want to understand the universe, think of frequencies and vibrations. And he also said that he does believe there's a source of all knowledge out there. That's motherfucking Aquarius. Shout out to the Aquariuses. Aquariuses are literal representatives of this causal realm, which leads to the astral realm of imagination, because you think through the mind to imagine. And this is where we get even more supernatural, my friends. This adjustment into the moon in Leo is now having you harvest, and you're harvesting intergalactic energy to charge your vessel. And once you transform, that moon in Scorpio is going to have you transform so that you step into the new moon in Aquarius, your God self. Okay? God rests in the third heaven. I'm going to, as a representative of Archangel Michael, I'm going to share some past life wisdom. As some people have heard, my brother or my partner, Lucifer, fell into the second heaven. And that is actually more an analogy that draws from astrology and not the other way around. We know that Lucifer is the prince of the power of the air. Okay, there's the power of the air, there's the knowledge of the air, and the strength, and there's the magic of the air, the three heavens. You can say there's up to 7 heavens, but there's at least 3 heavens, and the Bible will even record that, the third heaven houses God. Even though God can't be housed or contained by the heavens, it's important to note that God is in the third heaven, and Lucifer fell with a third of angels to the second heaven. That is a biblical allegory that accounts for the sun's fallen state in Libra, as the sun, Christ consciousness, travels through the zodiac. Okay, the ruler of the power of the air, that's Venus, the morning star, Lucy. And this is how we know Libra is the second air sign, the second heaven, and Aquarius is the third air sign, the third heaven, the domain of God, the universal mind, because life is mental. Boom! Hakuna Matata. Got a lot. But other than that, this is also where you tap into your higher mind, your God self. And in 2 weeks, you're literally going to take this charge in a week, and then that moon in Scorpio to moon in Leo is you transforming into this. I'm going to mention more of this in my full moon ceremony. If you're watching this, I'm probably doing that right now. Hit up YouTube And unless you're watching this on YouTube, then holla at me. But like, yeah, other than that, this is it. This is it. Remember, you want to think of this as a harvest. So for the last 2 weeks, you've been working to get here, and now you're going to come into a deeper, authentic understanding of this facet of your universal mind, God self, to prepare you to charge more energy coming into the week, or the next 7 days rather. And tomorrow, when the moon goes across from Mercury, it's starting from the sun, which is the solar power and the evolution, and then it's going to go across Mercury to very quickly align with your cognitive processing understanding, going from awareness to processing. Yep. Car stuck. Coincidence? Who knows? Interference? Doubt it. But interesting, because if you think of Aquarius as a collective energy, and what I'm doing being social, representing Leo, being an individual, interacting with my social environment, this is a social collective full moon that is going to really have you understand your place in the cog of the wheel. By the way, exorcisms are very real, and I'm an exorcist before I'm anything, and you may be too. Be very cautious and mindful of people who start acting very uncharacteristic or cautious in your presence, because you have frequencies, and maybe the purity of your frequencies may expose, and so never falter. Be prepared, because this full moon will also initiate some of you, if not many of you, into these deeper occult paths. And this is the most important part. This moon is squaring Uranus with Mars. Some of you are weird sexual freaks, and you need to stop apologizing for it. You need to stop thinking, oh, how do I fit this part of myself in society? Maybe you're supposed to this. I hate saying let your freak flag fly. It doesn't have to be freaky. It's fallacious to assume that an aspect of you, because it's outside of norm, is weird, when that actual norm could be weird. For example, people used to eat each other at some point. Women used to not be able to vote, and man stealing and slavery was held by a majority of people. And you know what I'm saying? Someone who thought that woman could vote was seen as weird. But were they weird? That's the same energy that you're dealing with, your sexual, freaky aspects that seem delusional but are so genius. All you need to do is learn to bridge that lower self with your higher self. This square with Uranus is going to allow you to ground your lower self with your higher self, so that you don't have that freaky, discharge. The reason why a lot of that seems weird is because the extra energy can have you focus so much on how the pleasure and lust of the lower self feels that it's hard to quarrel in the higher self. But you worked through that. It's just you had to go through the uncomfort, because that's the dirty work. And now that you're charging up, this is going to prepare to fill your vessel with so much more energy and knowledge that this is going to start to get fun. So walk down that red carpet, have fun, and be prepared for the new narrative, because we're starting this new moon in Aquarius with everybody in their God selves. Okay? Well, it's not about being aware of it or not. This is that great push that was really the Capricorn, and so it's manifesting in Aquarius. Boom. What's your ascended self? Do you know its name? This transit will allude for you to know it. If not, peace.